The veil was thick enough to hide my face. That's all that mattered. I could see Daniel waiting at the altar, grinning like he'd already won. His suit was pressed, his hair perfectly styled, his hands clasped in front of him like some kind of saint. He had no idea he was about to marry his future mother-in-law. The music swelled. I took another step down the aisle, gripping the bouquet so hard my knuckles turned white. White roses. Emma's favorite. The same ones she'd picked 6 months ago when she still thought this wedding would be the happiest day of her life. But Emma wasn't here. Emma had disappeared 3 days ago, and I was the only one who knew why. Daniel's mother was crying in the front row. The guests were smiling, filming on their phones. My husband Robert walked beside me, still confused but playing along because I'd begged him to trust me. I reached the altar. Daniel took my hands, squeezed them tight. Possessive. Controlling. He leaned close and whispered through the veil, "I knew you'd come back to me." My stomach turned. Because 2 weeks ago, I'd found bruises on my daughter's arms. And yesterday, I'd found text messages that made me want to kill this man with my bare hands. The officiant opened his book and started talking about love and commitment. And all I could think was, this man is about to have the worst day of his life. Let me explain how a mother ends up doing something this insane. Emma was my everything. My only child. My miracle baby after years of heartbreak and fertility treatments. I gave her the best life I could. The best schools, the best opportunities, all the love in the world. She was brilliant, beautiful, kind. She got into a top university, graduated with honors, landed her dream job. I was so proud I could barely stand it. Then she met Daniel. At first, he seemed perfect. Finance job, nice apartment, polite to everyone. My husband loved him immediately. I called him son before they were even engaged. But I saw things Robert didn't. The way Daniel interrupted Emma mid-sentence. The way he'd steer her away from conversations with his hand pressed against her back. The way Emma started apologizing for everything, for laughing, for being late, for existing. She stopped calling. Stopped visiting. When we did see her, she looked exhausted. Thin. Nervous. I asked if everything was okay. She gave me that tight, fake smile and said wedding planning was just stressful. The engagement happened fast. For months in, Daniel proposed at some fancy restaurant and posted it on Instagram before Emma even called us. Red flags everywhere. But I told myself I was being overprotective. Then came the dress fitting. Emma raised her arms and her sleeves lifted. That's when I saw them. 4 purple finger-shaped bruises on her left arm. I grabbed her wrist. What happened? She yanked away. I bumped into something. Doors don't leave fingerprints. I tried to talk to her privately. She shut me down hard. Said I was being dramatic, that Daniel was wonderful, that I needed to accept she was an adult. That hurt. But I kept watching. 2 days before the wedding, Daniel called. Frantic. Emma hadn't come home. My heart stopped. We drove to their apartment. Her car was there. Her phone was on the counter, screen shattered. Her purse was gone. I went to her bedroom while Daniel yelled at the police on the phone. And I found the note, hidden in her jewelry box. Shaky handwriting. Mom, I can't do this. I'm safe. Please don't look for me. I love you. I stared at it. Then I folded it up and put it in my pocket. I didn't tell anyone. Because I knew exactly where she'd gone. And I knew what I had to do. The cabin. She had to be at the cabin. A place we'd rented every summer when she was little. 2 hours north, deep in the woods. No cell service. No neighbors. Emma's safe place. I could have driven up there immediately. Could have brought her home. But I didn't. Because when I told Daniel I'd found a note saying Emma needed space, his reaction was a relief. It was rage. She's embarrassing me, he said. Not is she okay? Not should we postpone? She's embarrassing me. That night, I went back to their apartment alone. Broke into Emma's laptop while Daniel was at the venue. And I found everything. Emails to lawyers about restraining orders. Google searches for women's shelters. Screenshots of text messages she'd saved in a hidden folder. Daniel, 3 months ago. You're nothing without me. Remember that. Daniel, 2 months ago. If you leave, I'll destroy you. Daniel, 1 week ago. Run and see what happens. There were photos too. Bruises on her ribs. A black eye hidden under makeup. A busted lip. My daughter had been living in hell, and I'd been too busy picking out centerpieces to notice. I sat on their bedroom floor and cried. Then I got furious. Daniel was going to walk away from this. Play the victim. Get sympathy. Maybe find another woman to destroy. Unless I stopped him. That's when I looked at Emma's wedding dress hanging in the closet. We were the same size. Same height. People always said we looked alike. With the right makeup and that veil, I could pull it off. Just long enough to get to the altar. Long enough to destroy him in front of everyone who mattered. I drove to the cabin that night. Emma was on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the lake. When she saw me, she burst into tears. I'm so sorry, Mom. I ruined everything. I held her. You didn't ruin anything. I know about Daniel. I know everything. Then I told her my plan. She thought I was joking. Then she realized I wasn't. Mom, that's insane. I know. People will think you've lost your mind. I don't care. She tried to argue, but eventually she looked at me with tears streaming down her face and nodded. She gave me permission. So there I was. Wedding dress. Veil. Walking down the aisle toward a man who thought I was my daughter. When I reached Daniel, he took my hands, squeezed them tight. I knew you'd come back, he whispered. I wanted to scream. The officiant started the ceremony, talked about sacred bonds and forever. Then came the vows. Daniel went first. Some rehearsed garbage about partnership and growth. He stared at my veiled face the whole time, voice dripping with fake emotion. Then the officiant turned to me. And now the bride. I lifted my veil. The room exploded. Gasps. Screams. Someone dropped a glass. Daniel's face went from confusion to horror to pure rage in about 3 seconds. I smiled at him. Then I told everyone the truth. About the texts. The bruises. The threats. About how Emma ran because she was terrified. About how Daniel knew she was unhappy and tried to trap her anyway. I told them exactly what kind of monster he was. Daniel lunged at me, tried to grab my arm, but Robert was there, shoving him back, and suddenly groomsmen were wrestling him away. I walked off that altar, out of that venue, got in my car, and drove straight back to Emma. She was waiting on the porch. It's done, I said. She hugged me so tight, I couldn't breathe. You're completely insane. I know. Emma stayed at the cabin for 2 months. Eventually moved to a new city, changed her number, started over. Daniel tried to come after her at first, threatening messages. I forwarded them all to a lawyer, got a restraining order. He gave up, moved abroad. Good riddance. Robert thinks I went too far. Maybe I did, but Emma's safe now. Free. Rebuilding her life. And I do it all again in a heartbeat. Because that's what mothers do. We protect our children. Even if it means wearing their wedding dress and destroying someone in front of 200 people. Even if it means becoming the bride. I still have the dress. Emma told me to burn it. But I can't. Because when I look at it, I don't see Daniel or that disaster of a ceremony. I see my daughter. Safe. Whole. Free. And that's worth everything. Sometimes protecting someone means doing the unthinkable. If this story of a mother's ultimate sacrifice hit home for you, let me know in the comments. What would you have done in her shoes? If you believe in fierce, unbreakable love, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to The Silent Parents for more stories about the lines we cross for family.